Okay, so part 3. YouTube just does not give us enough time to record all that we want. So, compensating for our lack of anticipation by the use of logic, okay, overcoming mind blindness. Well, we have physical senses of the eyes and the nose and the ears to let us know when our services are needed, when things need to be done, or when things are not going right, or as they should. Our senses allow us to observe. Now, mind blindness, as I see it, goes beyond purely physical observation. It is, I think it's a lack somewhat of wanting to do for others. I think this is the part of Asperger's that makes us a bit more selfish than most other people. That's not to say that we are just really selfish people because we just want any and everything for ourselves. It's two things, really, I think, that we want to preserve for ourselves because we have an emotional attachment to our things, and we feel that, well, for example, loaning a book, to a friend might as well be me loaning a testicle to a friend, okay? Or an arm, or a leg, or an ear, or an eyeball. By the same token, I have a very hard time borrowing things. I don't like to borrow things from people because they're not mine. And I don't have emotional ownership of them. So I don't have interest in them so much, and this prevents me from borrowing from people. I don't like it. And besides, when I borrow from people, I feel like I owe them something, and I don't like feeling that I owe people things, okay? But this selfishness, courtesy of the mind blindness, I think also is just simply the inability to, I don't know if the right word is empathize, but to feel for others in their need, okay? Now, this makes us sound purely robotic, automatic, if you will, and I think this is why people perceive us as robots, automatons, because we don't anticipate the same way that others do. Ours is not reactionary. It has to be deliberate for us. For a person with Asperger's syndrome to anticipate, it has to be deliberate. It has to be a deliberate decision, or at least a deliberate observation, if there is such a thing. And I would say a deliberate observation would be, the garbage can is full. I got to take the garbage out. My wife would probably appreciate that I do that. Um, and I'm laughing because I don't know why, for some strange reason, I find it a little comical. And maybe this mind blindness, thing that makes us look like Mr. Spock or Commander Data, that might explain why, as a kid, one of my favorite bands was Kraftwerk. You want to talk about emotionless? Um, but no, I mean, I'm not emotionalist, and I'm not saying that anyone else with Asperger's is emotionalist. That would just be ridiculous. We have emotions. We feel. I mean, come on, look, we have rage, man. We have rage that, you know, makes us want to do things like that. Um, or things like, like this, just self-abuse, self-harm. So, just because we have mind blindness doesn't mean that we don't have feelings. And I'm going to be running out of time in about 3 minutes. I have to watch this clock now because, YouTube doesn't give us nearly enough time to get all these deep thoughts out. But I think mind blindness is very fascinating. And I think it explains a lot of our problems. And I think that I think Aspies have some very unique aspects. Mind blindness is just one of them. And there are others that in later videos I'll get into, such as stimming. Stimming is fun. Stimming is a lot of fun. Stimming is fun because it is rhythmic. And if you can find yourself stimming to music, that's really quite an experience. But I'll talk about stimming in another video because we're on the topic of mind blindness. So I would like to know what everyone else thinks mind blindness is, and what is mind blindness for you? How do you overcome it? How do you compensate for the lack of anticipation? I'm interested to hear what other people's takes on this are, and because I think that we all can learn from one another, and especially those of us in the Aspergian autistic world. And I'm new to this world, so to speak. I mean, at least since, my diagnosis, but I mean, I've lived in this world all my life, just not knowing what it is. Now, I know what it is, and I want to know more about it, and I want to hear from more people. Okay, so I have almost 1 minute left. Mind blindness. Is it better than physical blindness? Is it as much a deficit as physical blindness? I guess that makes us, in essence, intellectual Helen Kellers. So how do you compensate? All right. Please respond, reply, drop me a line. Take care.